So I'm just checking out my shoulders. What's up, baby? All right. Yeah, I'm waking up a little bit more. I got the rest of my Celsius heat from Price Chopper or whatever. What's it called? That cheap place you buy cheap stuff at because it's $1. It tastes like ass. I give it like a 1 out of 5. Its nutrient profile is pretty good, but its taste arguably the worst.
Mind you, and this is how you know Jeremy's a goer. It's a 1 out of 5 for taste, so let me chug this instead of finding something that tastes better.
Well, it's cheap, and I like what's in it. That's most of my diet is like
none of those things. Neither of those things.
If it was cheap and it tastes bad, I would.
Usually, if it's cheap, it's going to taste
taken a sip and I would have chucked it. Yeah, but if it's cheap and it tastes bad, I don't mind.
Adult decisions.
I already bought it, and it has good like stuff in it. Like,
who cares?
It can't be worse than the licorice sheets.
I'll get
G
that.
Fuel.
I'll find out.
And that
doesn't sound good at all.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Invite to Party podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, and I'm joined by my other patients, Bryan, Dave, and Ray. What's up? How you guys doing?
I'm Bryan. I'm the one with the beard.
And I'm Dave.
Are you mad at me? Because you took a while to say your name, and now you're crossing your arms.
He's angry at you. I'm Ray, by the way.
Why are we patients? I don't know.
We could talk about this. I'm glad you asked, Dave. Because May, even though it's the second week, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
What?
Yes. So we're gonna talk a little bit about, just something really just light, gaming addiction and the mental health effects on your health. No, it's not that deep, but yeah. So it's May.
Wait,
mental health.
Why not?
It's always.
Why isn't it going to be that deep? I came prepared.
Well, it's not. It is deep, but it's not like we need to like rush someone to rehab, or they're gonna die, kind of thing. Unless it's like those people that are like they can't leave the internet cafe and they die playing WoW, which is like, why would you die playing that game?
I will say that the biggest bout with gaming addiction that I've ever faced personally.
Oh, excellent. Well, not excellent. In my head, I was like, ooh, that'll be a good topic material. But in reality, that's not excellent. But yeah, I'm just going to say a few things about gaming addiction that I, just because, it's still like a fledgling thing. It's not in the DSM-5. So technically, it's not like an addiction per se, according to APA. But it's like a growing like interest as like gaming starts taking over the globe and how it differs in how it differs from other media and how you consume it. Like it's much more easier. Like I feel like you can't really get addicted to movie watching. You can, but since you're an active participant in gaming, it's just like a different kind of. I feel like you can get addicted to it more easily, and it's easier to get its talents in you. But there's a few stats like 1 to 16% of gamers meet the criteria for addiction, which is a pretty big range, admittedly. So they need to narrow that down a little bit. But I mean, even if you take like 8%, that's like tens of millions of people. Because everyone's a gamer right at this point. So 1 out of 10 people could be addicted to gaming. Then what was the other one? Let me scroll down quick. And then, some of the harmful effects that I wasn't aware of because I hadn't really read about it since college, when it was like just starting to come out.
Just fledgling. Okay.
Yeah, where like they just had like the first clinic or whatever for gaming open in like Sweden in like 2010 or whatever. But if children game, like they tend to, after they're done gaming, they tend to have increased aggressive thoughts and behaviors, particularly in kids. This goes for adults as well, which makes sense based on some of my feelings after playing COD. Just get aggressive feelings. But also that the other thing is that occurs like with like sports or whatever. So really, I think it's just the competitive aspect rather than the game. You're more likely to have light-induced seizures and disorders of your upper extremities. and you're more likely to be crappy at interacting with people in real life, which based on some people I've met, no one in here.
Why are you looking at me?
I was looking at Bryan as he like looks around suspiciously. No. Yeah, it makes sense. You have poor social reactions, especially if all your interactions come from like online gaming, you'd be a toxic person. Whew. That's where you learn like how to interact with people. You're also more likely to have poor impulse control and ADHD, which I feel like is like more likely to make you addicted rather than the vice versa. Like you're not like gonna get those things after you get addicted to gaming. I feel like that's more likely.
It's
to make
funny.
You more
I
likely to
have
get
most of those, but I don't have any addictions to gaming.
1 sec, I'm gonna pause it.
Those.
Okay, you're good.
Go ahead.
I was saying I have all of those symptoms. I am diagnosed with ADHD and all that stuff, but I don't really have any addiction to gaming.
Except
so you would say,
like, I could go a couple weeks without gaming.
And then you feel that urge and you got to get back in. Is that what you're saying? You feel like a physical need after a few weeks of being away from the juice?
Sometimes.
Oh,
I'm not really addicted to Sea of Thieves.
You just like enjoy
I'm not
doing
really
it.
addicted to Sea of Thieves. It's just right now I have a lot. Yeah, I really enjoy Sea of Thieves. But right now I have a lot of time on my hands, so that's what I've been doing with my time.
Right. No, that's
yeah.
If I had
no, I'll tell you what addiction is. Addiction is where
if I had less time.
Addiction is where you're making decisions that affect your real life based on whether or not you play the game. And that's how it was with World of Warcraft. Like, oh, you have a picnic going on with the family this weekend. I can't make it. I have to raid. You know what I mean? That kind of crap. And I, for a long time, did that, and it adversely affected me, not only socially, but also physically, because I didn't do anything. Like I was post-divorce. I was massively depressed and needed something to do to occupy my brain, and that ended up being World of Warcraft. And just like a gambler, it's that serotonin addiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was actually going to say that. I was going to say the same thing. It's addiction is classified as a dopamine hit, but that because you can control it, that's where the addiction comes in. Some people are like enjoy that self high from that. So I get exactly.
Some people can handle it. Some
Yeah.
people can't. You know,
Yeah,
can't control themselves.
I don't know. So yeah, like, I know I gained 200 pounds. I sat on my ass for years and didn't. The finally walking away from it was very difficult, but very cathartic and happy thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, do I talk to anybody that I made friends with during that time? No.
Oh.
Yeah, like I cut off World of Warcraft and they all went, because that was the only thing that we had in common.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm talking like we used to like meet in person. You know, like people would come from all over the place to like do meetups and stuff in our guild.
Wow.
Yeah. I walked away. I don't even remember people's names or anything. I kind of blocked it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's very it is very interesting to hear Dave's account. Thank you, Dave, because that's
should we have done it like AA, like
no,
hi, my
but
name's
seriously,
Dave.
he just bared his soul for you. Shut up.
No, I know. I'm just saying, it's like the AA thing where you like get up and you say your name and then you like talk about like your story or whatever.
Well, I think that there's a difference. Where I'm coming from is I've made a lot of friends through gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I have not made any real friends through being addicted to a game. Those are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I made a hardcore shift when I got out of World of Warcraft to get into things like HeroClix or board gaming or more social things that I had to get off my ass and go somewhere and play a game physically with somebody. So that's what led me down the path of, meeting Ray and James, their podcast crew at the time, and then the Bodana group and all that other stuff came out of like me getting over that addiction and going into the real world again, not letting a game dictate whether or not I had a social life outside of itself.
Yeah. It definitely feels like it doesn't have the same sort of stigma because, well, games are enjoyable. Even if, like, at the very core, you're addicted to a game, it's still kind of like you're a little. It's still fun in some respect. It might not be like as fun as like something genuine, and you're kind of like doing it just because you've always done it and stuff. And you're not like you don't have track marks in your arm from gaming or like physical effects, but you're not like literally injecting yourself with like poison or whatever.
Yeah,
So
it is
you
the
can still
poison
function
though.
kind
Like,
of. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think back on the time that I was hardcore addicted, where I was really like, pushing rating, that other stuff, and I like now it's almost like a joke. Like I feel like I was a joke. You know what I mean? Like I don't even recognize that person, or which is odd because at the time, like the worst part about the addiction of a game like World of Warcraft is you will make any concession to yourself or any excuse for yourself to get out of all of those real life social events or anything. Like you'll be like, oh, I just worked 8 hours. It's okay if I go home and game for 8 hours. You know what I mean? And then I might get 4 hours of sleep before I have to be back up.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be okay. It's Thursday. I can get through one more day of work with no sleep and that kind of stuff.
It sounds like stories about alcoholism I've read and stuff. It's crazy.
You know how many times I've heard that in my life? Like, dude, it's Thursday. You can game for a few more hours. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm like, no. I've never had those issues. I kind of prioritize things a little differently and get my highs from elsewhere, so to speak, which sounds weird to say out of context, but I no, I don't. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do anything like that. I just really just enjoy whatever it is I'm doing at the time. I'm always in that semi-euphoric state, which I'm lucky to have happened to me.
Now just imagine you just creaming your pants
it
randomly.
Boils down to I don't have.
Sorry. I don't know if that'll make it in there. Just imagine Ray just like walking around living life euphoric, like,
bro, I skip around my house.
I don't know why. What's wrong with me?
I wave hi to people. I talk to people all the time. Like I'm just, I've never looked for an external source to give me that chemical high, so to speak. So I enjoy gaming.
Ever?
For what? No, I used to
ever.
Brian, what were you trying to say, Brian?
I was gonna go back to Bryan. So I was just listening to Ray's interlude.
I was just gonna add my my experiences to the topic
about your own addiction or experience with the gaming addiction.
No, what I was gonna say was for me, it just I don't have an addictive personality, so I don't really get addicted to things. Maybe I get addicted to my food habits and the things I eat, but that's really about it. When Dave was saying stuff about avoiding social events and like making up excuses for not to do things, The only time in my life that I would do that was when I was severely depressed. I would make up excuses not to go anywhere, and I would just isolate myself and, not do anything. I'd just literally sleep.
Yeah.
Well, that was the main catalyst behind my
but
addiction.
I don't really. I mean,
to distract yourself from the anxiety and depression you're feeling.
Yeah.
You delve into something else.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I really got addicted to gaming was like I played a lot of Halo, but that was more social for me. Like we did Halo LAN parties, and then when Xbox Live started doing its thing, and then you could play Halo online with your friends. It was more of the social aspect for me than anything else. And then I would say again, I got into like the Elder Scrolls, like Oblivion and Morrowind, but again, it was more social. Like I got into those because of my other friends, and then by the time Skyrim is the one I put the most hours into. But most of the time while I was playing Skyrim, I had other friends that were playing Skyrim at the same time, and we were in an Xbox party talking to each other while playing. So it's not like it wasn't to avoid social; it was more for the social than anything else. But I never got into Elder Scrolls Online. It just didn't. It seemed like a different game to me. It didn't a game style.
It feels.
But again, like I said, I don't get very addicted to things. Maybe I get addicted to being lazy. I don't know.
Well, also,
the thing, the whole social.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying is like the whole social aspect of things, where you were playing Halo.
There's no way we can include that. Oh man.
When you were playing Halo and stuff for social interaction, that was the same excuse that I was giving for like, oh, all my friends are online, all my friends are in the guild, and like I said, now be hard pressed to tell you the name or real name of anybody who was in my guild. Now I played from around Burning Crusade coming out to Wrath of the Lich King. I don't know.
The heyday.
I played WoW for all of about a week, and it was during Wrath of the Lich King.
That was the best expansion. No cap.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and that's how they get you. The game's fun, but in order to get anywhere in the game, you have to devote a lot of time to it. And in order to facilitate, keeping up with the Joneses, you have to put in more time than they do, and it just turns into this spiral of every waking moment having to do your dailies and weeklies and attend every raid session and make sure you're there for reset, gather up all your materials and sell stuff on the auction house. And it was just like this never ending cycle of stuff to do, even if it was monotonous. It was the perfect storm of this gives me an objective to do while I'm sitting here doing nothing.
Interesting, Dave. I'm listening to you, and I've never had that pull. Like, I've been in high-level guilds in different MMOs. Hell, I was in one in WoW. I never had that constant grind. When I did, I just said, no, this isn't fun. I'll be back in a week, guys. Like, I've never
That's because you haven't had depression crushing your soul and making it that is your outlet. You know what I mean? That's your escape from the real world. That's where you go to, hide from the fact that, you're upset about the dissolving of your marriage and, the weight that you're gaining and the stress that you're under monetarily, or,
it's giving you the dopamine hits that you can't get from elsewhere.
Yeah. No, I got you. I channeled my divorce in other ways, I guess.
Murdering people, something healthy.
No, it was tabletop role playing.
That's what
you got to understand that
Yeah.
when I moved down here to York, and then shortly thereafter got divorced, my whole friend group in real life stopped talking to me and was still hanging out with my ex-wife, and B, none of those people, and I didn't have many friends to begin with, but because I had just got down here, you know what I mean. So I didn't have any in real life friends at all. You know what I mean? I was, local anyway. They were all up north, back where I came from. So I was
Sure.
it was a perfect storm in order for me to fall into the trap. And that's why I can look back on it with clarity now and see what happened and identify the fact that it was not healthy or good.
Do you consider MMOs and the like? Do you consider them an act predatory? Do you consider them a trap, or do you consider it just wrong time, wrong place, right games?
I think they can be. I think that the subscription model that they have lends WoW to being very good at trapping people into the rotation and the habit of getting onto their game, and they freshen it up just enough every expansion, and make like that grind that you have to get on to keep your gear score up and all that other stuff. They have socially engineered that game to be a casino for people that don't have more than $15 a month to gamble.
Wouldn't that
You
be
know what I
like,
mean?
isn't that the fall of the gamer? Because like if you look at the converse, like especially games as service model, what the biggest complaint you usually see is like, hey, where's the new content? And then WoW is doing exactly that and giving people like dailies, weeklies, tons of stuff to do.
Isn't Game Pass the same thing?
No,
that's definitely less predatory. It's like you don't have like a reason to like. They're not like you're not missing out on anything. They're just it's like Netflix kind of.
WoW incentivizes you to log in daily, basically, to do all those things.
Okay.
It's the only way that you can keep up with everything going on in the game and be relevant.
I mean, Game Pass has the game rewards for logging in every day, but I don't really keep track of that.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is there's a difference between a WoW that wants that $15 a month subscription fee, right? And then on the other side of that, you have something like Guild Wars 2, which is a free-to-play MMO that they don't care if you play or not. You know what I mean? So they don't have
not care either because like they're getting your dollars anyway, and they didn't add microtransactions until like 2016.
Yeah, but you're talking about Microsoft versus Blizzard.
They need to have a reason for you to keep coming back. So that's why they keep engineering new raids, gear score treadmills. The fact that everything's so outrageously like the amount of time put into like obtaining gold versus what you get out of the gold is completely different. And like a game like Guild Wars, you can actually buy legitimate gold through their system by buying gems and converting it to gold. Whereas WoW, up until they had the subscription tokens, there was no real way to do. So, Ray, what did you want to say?
You brought it up a couple of times, and I saw Jeremy nod. All right, this whole keeping up with the Joneses idea. I haven't actually encountered that before, you guys.
I nodded because I recognize that because I, getting all the cosmetics.
You saying that means that you were never in a high-end rating guild in WoW, because you have to have the gear score to even be in the raid, let alone get the gear from the raid to move on.
Yeah, but that's not keeping up with the Joneses. That's making sure my gear is in check. Like, where's this whole concept of keeping up with the Joneses?
Because there's 15 other warlocks sitting next to you that are also trying to do the same damn thing. And you need that spot. You need that rating spot because you have to get the gear to keep pushing content. These other 15 warlocks better not step on your toes. That's the keeping up with the Joneses part. You're all competing for that. Yeah, you're all competing.
There's the next one. I'm not I don't need. I guess
no next one.
Yeah, there's always a next one. That's the whole point.
No.
What's the next one?
The raids reset weekly. So
Yeah.
if you weren't in the raid group for that week, you weren't in the raid for that week, which meant you didn't get gear or a shot at gear because it,
Yeah, go to the
random.
next one next week.
No, because the guy that just went this week got the shoulders that you needed. Now his gear score is better. So now he's the number one warlock in the guild. So he's going to get picked before you. I don't think you're understanding how like the hierarchy of like raiding guilds goes in WoW and how much the drive to get better and be ahead of the pack was.
And my point is that specifically in WoW, I have never encountered that anywhere else.
Is
you
it FOMO?
definitely didn't play as much as I did.
Is it like FOMO?
What? No. Apparently, it's once you get in, you have to continue to be in, and there is no good game model for that. That's terrible for the player. For the player's mental.
I've never played
had that before.
I've never played a game where I've had to, or anything in life where I've had to feel like I had to be competitive to keep up with other, to be ahead of or outdo anybody else. I don't.
I think that's why we're having this discussion where I was the one that was addicted and was on 24/7, and you guys have no idea how far down that rabbit hole can go. And
Yeah.
it
Well, it's
sucks.
like I was in Halo 2 clan, and it wasn't quite like that hardcore because I was young at the time. But there was like the top 6 or whatever in COD. We had a clan, so you had to be in the top 6, which is based on like practices and stuff and like clan scrimmages instead of like the actual matches on GameBattles.com. But so not that, but I can understand like if you're not playing, you're not getting better, and it's like a sport. Like you're either getting better or you're getting worse.
Yeah,
So,
but it's compounded by the fact like you can be of equal skill with all the other however many people that you have in your guild of the same DPS class as you or tank class as you, and if you're not getting that next piece of gear that raises your gear score or is for the meta build for that character, you get left behind. Now all of a sudden you're on second string, and on second string maybe they have these 14 other warlocks that are working on second string already that are already part of the main group. So you have to go to like, I'll jump in on my shaman healer for second string, but then there's another 4 hours of raiding for a night. You know what I mean? To pop.
It feels like a cultural thing, rather. I mean, it's an end result of the game and the competitive aspects of it, but it seems like a lot of the culture outside of the game is like really doing it. The game enables it, but it's not like inherent.
Oh yeah, well that's the problem.
They even had world first and stuff back then.
They did.
Well, no, it recorded in game.
Yeah, they did.
It was still.
Yeah,
they had the achievement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had all that stuff.
Wow. I thought it was still like a third-party thing, like website, but
no, they had titles and everything for world first, server.
I go through phases like that where I'm like, or like COD or like Sea of Thieves, where it's like, oh, I really want to get this stuff, but then something usually I just like, why, and then I like stop. I don't know. I guess the big difference is like between like enjoying a game and playing it a lot and like putting a lot of time into it, and like addiction is like it starts affecting your real life, where like you're waking up super tired for work, or like you call out of work because like you stayed up too late, or your friend, like you're saying, or like if it would be like if I started gaming and just stopped going to the gym, that would be bad. Then it's bad. So if it starts taking a negative effect on your life,
call out of work just a game.
I mean, there's other games too that are just as addictive and whatnot. But I don't want to pick on WoW, but WoW is the number one.
WoW is predatory from what it sounds like. It's exceptionally predatory. And by the way, I have taken a vacation day for a day, so I have taken off work for a video game before.
Oh, I think that's fine. Yeah, especially like a premiere you're looking forward to, like a big.
But that's fine. That's a scheduled day off. I mean, like calling out of work, just like taking a sick day, just a game.
Yeah, I don't do that. I mean, I can understand the mental health day if you're getting, if you need a day off and that's what you choose to do it on. But it's when that game becomes driving force behind all the decisions that you're making throughout the day.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I don't want to go out to dinner because I want to slam a hot pocket quick because I have a raid in 20 minutes, or everybody's getting together to play Pathfinder. Well, I can't go over there tonight because I got this dungeon that I need to do to get these new shoes for my paladin or whatever. Those are the things that the decisions and the excuses and the problems, the social. You replace your whole social life with these people online that at the end of the day, it's lightning in a bottle to actually make a real friend online. And generally speaking, when you're part of a 25-man raid group, you're easily replaceable. Nobody gives a shit about you. Like,
you're like competing against each other and with each other at the same time. So like he's your friend, but also he's trying to take your spot. So
yeah. I don't know. I've never felt the pull with any other game other than WoW. So like that's why I lend. And maybe it's biased of me. Because I can play like I bought the expansion for Guild Wars 2. I've logged into it 3 times. I don't feel the drive to log into it daily to play it for hours. You know what I mean? For me now, my drive to play video games isn't based on the game as much as the social interactions with you guys.
Social interactions.
Yeah.
And it's real life friends on there, not these random guild mates that really at the end of the day don't mean shit.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? It's being able to hang out with you, especially during this pandemic. We've leaned pretty heavily on the online interactions,
right.
As opposed to going over to Ray's house 3 times a week to play Gloomhaven and Pathfinder and whatever else we were getting into at the time, which I can't wait to get back to. But yeah, I mean that's just my point of view, and I'm sorry for kind of running all over this episode.
For me, the social aspect for gaming comes from like I got into gaming. Like I've always been gaming since I was a child, but like the social aspect of it came from my friends in high school, middle school, growing up. Like whatever they were playing, I was playing. You know what I mean? And then after high school, I got a job at GameStop, and not only did my friends from high school still game, but like my friends from GameStop gamed as well. But they, so everybody that I was playing games with online were already in real life friends. So if they weren't online and they were out socializing, and I wasn't there, they're like, Brian, where are you? We're out to dinner, So like, for me, if they weren't online, then I was out with them doing whatever they were doing, unless we're at work or something. But like I would go to midnight launches for games that I didn't even pre-order, just because my friends were there.
Yeah, it's very social.
Yeah, so I did the gaming thing came from me from the social aspect. So I guess I'm more addicted to the social aspect than anything else, which is probably why I'm sitting here right now with you guys.
I started a lot later now because I started putting things together timeline wise. I started on an Atari, right? So the only thing you got is someone to sit next to you, Nintendo, whatever, the whole bit. I didn't see an online game till I was already working on Wall Street, and that was EverQuest. I was in the beta.
EverQuest, I played that.
Yeah.
You got me beat. I think probably the first real online game that I got into it with any kind of depth, and I was pretty well addicted to it just because of the slot machine aspect of it was probably Diablo 2.
For me, it was RuneScape. Yeah. The first online game I played was RuneScape.
I was never interested in MMOs like EverQuest because my friends and I were all D&D nerds. Like that was my fantasy setting gameplay. Yeah. I never played really that many games like video games based in that kind of a setting, just because it didn't occur to me. Like for me, video games were, racing games, Mario Brothers, like that kind
Gotcha.
of stuff growing up.
Yeah.
Well, because of the timeline, I realized I was like 22 when I played my first online game, but my first gaming experience was when I was 12 when I bought my first role-playing game.
Yeah.
So I had a 10-year difference. I had 10 years of being social at a table or on my friend's floor or over sleepovers.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking back on it, like it was probably the Dragon Strike board game, Hero Quest,
Yeah.
Battle Masters. Those were like the Milton Bradley games that started off the interest, and then we found the Dragonlance novels, which then led to finding D&D.
Did you get the
and the
red
Dragonlance
box?
setting.
know
No,
the
I
red
never had
box.
the red box myself. I had Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Second Edition, Dungeon Master Guide, and Player's Handbook.
Yeah.
And then
Still remember that dude on horseback with the sword on it. Yep.
And then like the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dragonlance setting, Second Edition, with Tannis on the cover holding up the crown. The Spelunker's Guide, the Monster Manual.
So Ray, you never used gaming as like kind of like your, not poison, but like your tool to dig yourself out of like a spot, like a hard spot.
No, gaming was always kind of how can I put this? A spiritual pursuit for me instead.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I always gravitated towards RPGs because of the creativity. You have to understand. I sit here at work. Okay, I'm going to show you something. I sit here at work with a notebook next to me. These are stats and story ideas for different RPGs. When I'm in meetings, and I know my boss might hear this, when I'm in meetings and I'm sitting there scribbling, half of the page is always notes for the meeting, and the other half is, I wonder what would happen if a troll ate, like dust of dryness. You know what I mean? Like it was always something that allowed me to flex my creativity in every way or emulate the stories that I saw on TV and movies. This is my.
What about gaming, like video games specifically?
Video gaming for me is I enjoy the stories, I enjoy the experiences, and I enjoy the mechanics of gaming. Okay, which is why I'm very particular about what I play. I know it frustrates you to hell, Jeremy, that I'm very particular about what I play. But it has to entertain me. Video games are there to entertain me. I'm not here to religiously get something or purchase something or whatever. Like you have to make it worth my time. And that's not me being like elitist or anything, but it has to tickle my bones the way I want it to tickle my bones.
Yes, it is. You elitist prick.
Yeah, you know what?
Just like Liz was saying last week. Call back.
Call me what you want. It's fine. You know, and it's not a.
I've never had like.
I don't have to keep up with the Joneses, and I don't tell people how to play their games. You do what you want to do. If you ask me for advice, I might offer some. Like, hey, you might want to try this skill. Maybe you're not aware of it as opposed to this one. And that's happened quite a bit because people are frustrated with the games that they're trying to get into or whatever. I've had that. But certain games like Guild Wars allowed me to flex my creativity. I was the first one published with the Bonsai Assassin, which is you go in, you explode for massive AoE damage, and you teleport back to your healer with 5 health left.
I believe you. I believe you.
I was published on their website for it. For making that build.
Editor, include that link. Just post it right now. There you go. You guys can see. Wow, that's crazy. I'll find it. Maybe.
Unreal.
Yeah, I don't really feel like the keeping up with the Joneses. I've never been in like a game like that. Like if you play COD, it's not like you need to like unlock a daily or whatever or weekly to get like a gear set. It's just like practicing a sport, like kicking the ball at the wall. You just get better at playing it. But I definitely like at like rough spots in my life, I think I've definitely turned into like gaming to like, distract myself. Probably Skyrim, maybe a little bit of Sea of Thieves, things like that. Even like when we were in the lockdown, when we were playing Division 2 a lot, I was definitely playing too much. It was like 200 hours in like 2 weeks or something crazy like that.
Oh my god!
And then at one point I was like just logging on just to play, like run around and like do stuff. Then that's when I started being like, you should do other stuff. Like, and then I set the limit, like, all right, you're not going to play in the morning. You're going to play like after you do stuff and Dave gets home and Ray get home from work, because you guys were still like, I was furloughed, but you guys were still working. So I was like, all right, when they're on, then you can get on. Just setting limits and things like that to like, so you don't get into like a bad habit of putting other stuff to the side. But yeah, I think that's as far as I've gotten. I feel like been able to like nip it in the bud.
Have you ever been in an environment or a game that there is that how can I put this? The availability of keeping up with the Joneses. In Division, when you came in late, were you in a race to try to catch up to whatever? Because the game's been out already, and because I don't.
I mean, me and Dave went through it. I mean, I just wanted to like, I liked the story. I did want to get to like towards the end, but I mean, when we got to like the end game stuff, I mean, I had a simple all red build, so I wasn't like hunting for new stuff. I mean, if I got a new thing with like a slightly different like accuracy stat, that'd be cool. But like, I like that where like it wasn't 100% depending on gear score and things like that. So that game didn't have the same kind of, I think, as WoW, where like it's almost entirely dependent on your gear.
Well,
like
yeah,
you can be an
because it's
excellent
like
player with
turn-based and
times.
cooldowns.
Yeah,
and
it's like
whatnot.
cooldowns. Yeah. So yeah, I guess really WoW is like designed to be predatory, and it gets worse every year because like there's even more stuff, there's even more content, and
and now they have
microtransactions.
plastic to bring back all the people that left. Like I have a friend of mine that's trying to get me back into playing WoW Classic for Burning Crusade, and I keep telling him no, just because I know last time didn't go over well, and I told him I don't need to gain another 200 pounds, I'll be dead. There's no way. I'm still dealing with the fallout from that addiction, the weight gain, and the everything that came out of it. So I have no interest really in even slipping a little toe back into the
Is it
world.
MMOs in general or just WoW?
No, like I said, I have Guild Wars. I have no compulsion to get on there daily. I have, I'll get on and I'll mess around. I'll play with my Char Ranger, my Guardian, and then I'm good for a while. I log back off, and there it is. You know what I mean? Like that game doesn't. There's no gear treadmill. There's like leveling to max level takes no time at all. It's not grindy like WoW, where it forces you into this months long journey to get to max level. Really, it's not about the leveling up. It's about the story of you leveling up, and then when you get to max level, the stories that continue to come out. It's very story driven and fun.
Mm-hmm.
So like I bought the expansion, and then I unlocked with the gems that came with the expansion. I unlocked all the story bits that I missed. Because if you don't log in during that story beat, like you have to unlock it.
Gotcha.
That's how they make some of their money, but it's worth it because it's story. You know what I mean? I'm just unlocking these little snippets, and they're cheap, $2 here,
Gotcha.
whatever. So I unlocked all the ones that I missed, and I haven't even played through that. But like I know that like it's sitting there. If I log in, I can play a little story beat or two, get a little bit more of the lore, and then I can log out and call it a day. There's nobody telling me that I have to get a gear score because there's no real such thing. There's, it's just, it's nice.
Gear checks are very specific to WoW, by the way. I mean, we have gear check in Final Fantasy, but it's not required for any particular type of high-end stuff. You just need a group to go through.
I think even now it's required, like in the game, you have to have like a gear score 650 to get up or to put yourself into the in-game queue, like for matchmaking for dungeons. Last time I played, which is Pandaria.
I don't know. I stopped. Like I said, rather Lich King, I haven't even.
He hasn't looked back, and that's good, Dave.
I had a different experience with WoW, so I don't know if it's inherent. I feel like it's part of the guild, toxic guild and culture that you got into, because I loved, like, my favorite part of WoW was just leveling characters. Like, once I got to the end game content, I would do a few dungeons. Like, I'd never even done a raid. I had no interest really. I would do dungeons and like tank which also kind of sucks. People are dicks in that game. But I would tank a few dungeons and I just want to level another character up to 70 or 80 or whatever. And I would love going to a new area and like following the story. Like, even when you out level an area, like you're 15 in a level 10 thing, just like doing the whole storyline for the thing. I love that part.
It's a different ball game when you get into the upper hierarchy of dragon kill points, and
it's insanity.
DPS charts and all that crap.
I think the best, or when I think about stuff like that and that keeps me from getting into that, and like in certain games, is just thinking about like it doesn't matter. Like it's not real life. Like that's what I think. Matter. I'm like, you could be the number one tank in the world. It's like, okay. I mean, you might get sponsorships at that point, like if you're number one in the world or whatever, and it's a job. But like, other than that, it's like that doesn't matter if I'm like, or like Sea Thieves. It's like I don't have FOMO because it's like I don't have a dress or a shirt. It's like I'm still or like when I didn't do Battle Pass for season 2 of COD, I was like, all right, like I didn't finish it out. I didn't feel cool.
Can I small segue to something? This is a follow up to Liz's conversation with you guys last week. By the way,
if you that's episode 28 for anybody listening. Go ahead. Liz popped up on the tail end of the segment to talk about gamers' acceptance of women in the gaming culture and things like that.
Holy crap! It was the first and only bad experience that I had in Final Fantasy. I play my avatar is a woman, because the truth is, if I'm going to stare at something for that many hours, it might as well be a girl.
And I don't look at my characters. I don't know what you guys are talking. I've heard that before. And it's like, how often are you looking at your character's ass?
Oh, actually, not the ass, but the actions and the cutscenes.
I just zone out. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, because you don't give a crap about story anyway. Liz and
I give a crap. Oh, that's I love story. I play every single Assassin's Creed for hundreds of hours because I love the story.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
So Liz and I are in a dungeon, and I said, hold on, I'm reading about the boss, because now we're in high-level dungeons. Speaking of, this is what reminded me. And they kicked me because it took too long to read. So Liz left. We go back in, finally, because we're 2 DPS, and she's actually playing the tactics against the boss. She's a Dragoon, but she's trying to stay at range, waiting for his big hit to finish. And literally, the healer dropped the ball, didn't heal the tank up all the way when the big tank smasher hit came, dropped, and then both of them blamed her. Like she wasn't doing her job. And I'm like, she was actually playing to the tactic. You guys weren't. When there's a giant AoE on the field, get away and out of the orange blobs. You don't
stand in the fire.
Yeah, don't. That makes you burn, you idiot.
Don't stand in shit.
So they dipped. Instead of kicking her, they just both left. It was the one and only time in this game that we got really bad interactions twice. So now we have told the rest of our guild, by the way, if you want to join our guild, you can join us on the Discord and talk to us about it. We have a whole chat there for it, which Jeremy will post the Discord address in the notes as well.
Every week.
Look at you.
Every week, baby. Just check any episode.
So we got a whole bunch of people together for guild night and went back through those 2 separate dungeons and completely rocked it, all on our Discord chat room. So even if you want to hear some dungeon level play of me, screaming, yelling, and having profanities over, goddamn, this thing has too many hit points, we're worth the time to listen to. So
that's part of what got me out of WoW as well. When I played Kata, doing the dungeons at the end, like tanking, it could get into a queue easily, but like if you mess up, people are huge assholes. Like,
but we're not.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get me wrong. This was all new mechanics. Is like I said, every boss is different in this particular game, which I really enjoy. So you have to actually kind of learn each of the mechanics. And we bounced faces right off of a brick wall twice in a row. Like we just went in and wiped right away. Then we went in and wiped 10 minutes into the fight. Took us sometimes 3 times to get through particular boss fights. So. But when you're in a group with your friends, it's a lot easier because there's a lot more patience and give there. So that was the follow up.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
She wanted me to say to people, yeah.
I enjoyed like the difficulty and the skill it took to do the dungeons and stuff as like a tank. I love that part. And like even a little bit of the stress because it's like it's challenging. It's cool. It's like especially when you overcome it. That's the cool part. But doing it with randoms, like not for, like if I was with friends like you guys, you tease me if I messed up, but you wouldn't like kick me out of the group to like you're like, all right, let's go again. All right, next try. It's like Legos on Division 2.
I would just like to point out that we have 5 minutes left to wrap this episode up before Bryan turns into a pumpkin.
Oh,
can we? I do want to see that, so I was hoping to keep drawing it out a little bit longer.
No. Why don't you finish this up, man?
That's your new face. Well, we're not. So we got a little bit of time. 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was just curious mostly. I was just thinking about it because I wasn't sure how like you guys are all smart guys, but I wasn't sure like I didn't realize Dave had that experience, so I was just curious. But if you either had experience with it or you're just like, nah, it's not a thing. Video games can't kill you.
Well, that's not true.
Just,
South Korea.
Just blood clots in your legs from sitting too long.
South Korea is petitioning for video game addiction to be added to mental health coverage currently. So it's a thing. I mean, you have to understand, people also make money doing this. So like they'll sit for 16, 17 hours grinding out to max level of character to get them all the right gear to then sell the account. You know what I mean? That's how they make their money, right? It only works really in MMOs, but it could work for a number of other things as well. So, it depends on the type of gaming it is. And what happens is people get that, like you said, slot machine type of thing. There's something in my lizard brain that immediately gets all every time I hear the Final Fantasy level up music. So like every single time. Or the victory music,
or you see a certain color.
Even Link opening up a treasure chest. Yeah. Everybody has that, little thing that ticks off in your brain. But it's when you can't control that urge to feel that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll get this. I'll log in later or whatever. When it's appropriate, just like you do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, everything in moderation, including gaming. Even if it's fun and pro-social.
Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Moderating our forums. Forums. Was it 1995? Yeah. All right. Well, that's a surprisingly deep episode of Invite the Party. Thank you, Dave, for sharing. I was I feel like I have similar things, but like that, it's a pale shadow. Which I guess is good. But,
we love you, Mr. Dave. Or at least Jeremy said he doesn't, so that's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. He said that he used to love me, but then he found his gym crush. Second fiddle.
Wow.
That changes weekly. That changes weekly, all right? Let's be honest. But you'll always be there. My gym crushes won't, especially when they go at different times.
That's for you.
Bryan.
Oh my God. Poor Bryan. Well, yeah, why don't you come to Discord? We'll if you want to let us know, about your addictions, just put it in general,
Oh yeah. I'd love to hear that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I like learning about people. I really do like learning about people and the people that listen to us. So
or if you feel like you have an addiction, maybe just talk about it with someone. Talk about it with us, and get an outside perspective. Because when you're in the hole, you don't see anything but the hole.
That sounded a lot dirtier than you probably meant.
When you're in a dark cave, when you're in a dark cave that's super dry and not gross or moist or anything, just a dark cave, all craggy.
You had to go right to moist.
Just stop.
There's a mental health podcast that I listen to called Messy Mental, and actually the girl who hosts it is somebody I met playing Sea of Thieves. She's a streamer on Twitch and all that stuff. But she does a podcast, and she live streams the podcast every Thursday.
Look at that.
Are you saying they're better than us?
No.
Hey, whoa.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Apples and oranges. Apples and oranges.
No, you pick one fruit and you like it. All right.
Pears.
What about
pears? Are underrated. Tomatoes? Yeah, they're okay too.
No.
What the fuck you mean?
No.
You don't like tomatoes?
I hate them.
I don't like tomatoes either.
All right, well, that's it for this episode of the Fight the Party podcast. Thanks for coming to the party.
Yeah.
Peace. Later, yo.
Deuces.
Liz from the corner. Poop. All right.
Yeah, she pooped me twice this week. She just came into the office. And she went poop like that.
Oh, I thought she meant she like stuck her thumb up your butt or something.
That has a different name, Jeremy.
What's up, everybody? Short hair Jeremy here. Thanks for checking out this video. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure you check out our other stuff. If you don't want to hear it at YouTube quality, you can actually listen to our podcast every Wednesday. Available at 5 a.m. Hot and steamy, fresh and ready to go out of the baster, the turkey baster that doesn't cook stuff. Anyway, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications about things we do, maybe gameplay, game reviews for hot new titles that we'll review like 2 weeks after they come out, right after you already bought it. But yeah, thanks for checking us out. Hope you listen to us more. Make sure you tell other people who want to watch us and make fun of us, maybe, or maybe just enjoy our content, whatever. I'll take all the views, whatever. It's all good. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Am I right, boys and girls and intersex people? Don't want to forget you guys. But yeah, so thanks for coming to the party. Peace.